The word synagogue means a place where people gather together. There's rather a charming instance of this in the Greek translation of the Old Testament from Hebrew into Greek, known as the Septuagint. In the story of creation in Genesis chapter 1, it says that when the waters were gathered together, they were gathered into a synagogue. Rather nice. It was Jesus' custom to go to the synagogue at Nazareth, we read, and if you remember, that was the place where they tried to throw him over a cliff because they didn't like what he said. And then he used to speak openly all over Judea and Galilee, and his policy was to teach the people, and he would heal people and cast out demons. There are 3 special events that are mentioned in the Gospels. One where an evil spirit was cast out. A second one involved a shriveled arm, which he healed on the Sabbath, and the religious authorities were against him doing that. And the third one, there was a lady bent double. Again, he healed her on the Sabbath, and they said he shouldn't have done that, this was doing work. When we come to the book of Acts, we find that Paul also used to seek out the synagogues and speak to the people there. In Damascus, following his conversion, he persuaded people that Jesus was the Son of God. In Cyprus, he spoke about the Word of God, and all over the Mediterranean, he would reason with people. In Corinth, he stayed there for 3 months, arguing persuasively that Jesus was the Son of God. Now, in not one of these instances is there any reference to the contents of what you might call the actual service. It just doesn't come. So I don't think one can argue that as churches we should be copying synagogue practice. It was simply that Jesus and Paul used these places, which is where the believers gathered, to send their message out. We do, however, have one instance in Acts where the people gathered together to break bread. This was not a synagogue. It says they gathered together to break bread, and perhaps that sparks our interest. Paul went on speaking for such a long time that by midnight the young man Eutychus had fallen asleep in the window and fell to the ground and was pronounced dead. However, Paul prayed over him and he seems to have revived, and nothing daunted, Paul went on speaking until daylight. This was, we read, a special event because Paul was leaving Ephesus next day. So notice there that the emphasis is not really on the breaking of bread. Once again, the emphasis is on sharing the message.